right, today we're addressing a very common question that we get from our clients, specifically clients that live in the state of Illinois, which is, what are our thoughts on moving out of the state of Illinois for financial reasons? It's a common thing that many people have probably seen in the news that there is a net outflow of people every single year from Illinois over the last 5 to 10 years. And our first response to that question is to move just for financial reasons is usually not our best recommendation. There's so many other factors into where you live, like family around you, community around you, your hobbies, what you're gonna do for work, having a support system around you, that just moving to save a little bit potentially on income taxes is potentially short-sighted. That being said, there's a couple other factors that we often bring up when thinking through this decision, and it may apply to your situation if you're also thinking about this. The state of Illinois actually is pretty advantageous for certain retirees if you're living off of your IRA or your 401k in retirement. What does that mean? Well, when you pull money out of an IRA or a 401k when you're an Illinois resident, they actually do not levy state income tax on those distributions. You're only paying federal income tax on those distributions. So if you actually compare it to another state with no income tax like Florida, it actually is potentially no different whether you live in Florida or Illinois if you're solely living off of IRA distributions in retirement. Of course, if that's not your situation and you're living off of other income sources, it very well could be more advantageous to live in a state with no state income tax like Texas, like Florida, like Tennessee, etc. So that's one thing to note, that Illinois actually is not that onerous from an income tax standpoint at the state level for certain retirees. So that's the first thing to say. The second thing to say is that it is potentially very valid to move out of the state of Illinois if you are concerned about estate taxes. Estate taxes are levied on your estate at your passing, and that only kicks in right now under state law above $4 million of net worth. And so if you think that after meeting with an estate planning attorney or looking at your situation that may apply to you, that definitely is worth looking into further, because there can be significant savings potentially if you move to a state that does not levy estate taxes. So estate taxes can be a very valid reason to leave the state of Illinois if you're worried about that. It's a little bit more complex on the state income tax side. But the underlying thing over all this is that there should be multiple reasons to move out of this state, not just financial reasons. So if you want to talk anything more about this topic or other topics, let us know. Thanks.